Hello, everyone. My name is Karosh, and I'm here with Temple of Geek, and we're doing an interview today with Robert Arzola, composer of Tactical Breach Wizards. Thank you for joining us today, Robert. Could you tell us a little bit about some of your history?
Well, first, thanks for having me on here. Happy to be here. So my history. Ooh.
I should say, like, your what? Can you tell us about like a lot what you do, what you're known for beyond Tactical Breach Wizards, and
Oh yeah. So I'm a composer, yeah, for games, as you know, for Tactical Breach Wizards, but I also do trailer music, films, and such. And that on that realm, I'm also a music supervisor at the trailer music library Phantom Power.
oh,
So
wow.
I handle a lot of things over there music wise when it comes to getting music through the door, albums out, trying to get custom work done for various clients for various major film campaigns.
Wow,
And
and
sometimes I'll
could
do music for that or sound design and other things.
okay, so all things music, you're well versed. You're a Renaissance man in much of that.
Only because I have to.
Fair enough. How could you shed a little bit of light? How long have you been in the industry, in the music industry?
I've been in this industry for 9 years.
Okay.
So it's pretty short compared to a lot of my other peers, but slowly catching up.
Building your portfolio as I saw. And that kind of brings me to Tactical Breach Wizard. With this game, I've had quite a bit of time playing it. I love it. And I was curious, how did you initially get involved with the project? Like, what can you shed some light on that?
So it's funny. I think this was during COVID. Yeah. I honestly thought I was done really trying to get into video games
Hmm.
because things weren't working out as well. And then I was just on Facebook, and one of the Facebook groups that composers are a part of, someone shared a blog post done by Tom Francis saying that he's looking for a composer for the game. And like you don't even have to have any experience writing for games. He was opening it up to a broad spectrum. And I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not give it a go? See what happens. I sent him some tracks that I did for for some custom stuff for Michael Bay campaign
Hmm.
that didn't work out at the end. I thought, why not send these most recent stuff that I was proud of at the time, though not as proud of now, but proud of at the time. And next thing you know, I was in the demo round and I got the game. I was so pumped when I found out.
And then you became a part of it. And so I guess that's the other thing. Was it that the game was already far in development, or like how did you get involved with, how was the back and forth between the game's development and your involvement composing for it?
The game was going through a fair bit of development at the time,
Okay.
at least in the first act or two. Um, and when I came in, I was really focusing on the first act and everything. And so at that time, that's what I was just really geared into and focusing on. And then over time, as the game would develop, during the 3.5 years I was part of the game, I would write for those different levels and missions in those different acts. So it was a long. It took time just to go see the game develop over time and build and see how these different worlds went. Well, I should say different countries and cultures and all that went. And yeah, it takes time to see that happen. I didn't realize how crazy and how much work it took to make something like this before, to be honest.
Was there
And
any element of the collaboration between the development and your music that really stood out, or that like holds a special memory for you that you could shed light on?
overall, the development, I mean, the process and the collaboration with Tom
Mhm.
was fantastic. Um, I think he's worked with a different composer each game. So if you work with Tom Francis, if you're writing music for him, you're going to be happy because he's very he really tries to work with you, give you good references, give you good feedback,
Mm.
and he's a great guy. And um, one of my favorite I guess moments was there is the bar scene with Banks, and that track is called The Pyromancer. And I gotta make sure I don't mess up because I'm tired. And it's this jazzy, noir jazzy tune and everything. It wasn't meant to be there. It was meant to be somewhere else. But it was funny because I thought he sent me like a reference and what he was hoping for, thinking about, and I never wrote jazz before. And so I thought, why not give it a go? Because I'm an orchestral guy, listen to some jazz stuff, listen to what he sent over. And then like an hour or two later, I write this track and I send it over and he likes it. But then like the team was apparently trying to figure out where the best spot was because there was just like they really liked it, but it didn't fit exactly there. So they had to find a spot for it. So next thing you know, Banks, Pyromancer in the bar, and it works so well.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a happy accident that just blended into the making of it.
I love the happy accidents.
What with the different elements, this is like a tactical RPG style game, but blends in elements of wizardry with like the SWAT esque genre tones that it has. Did you draw from any specific inspirations when you were putting the overall your like the general tones or the main things you wanted to hit on, or were there main any specific instruments you wanted to hit on?
Drums were something that Tom liked,
Hmm.
and that was in the tracks that I sent to him. They weren't in my final demo track as much, but they were kind of there. But after that, I really used them more. When it came to like influences and such, I guess like I do like the older war video games, like the older Call of Duties, and then the what is it? Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
The theme I think is Hans Zimmer and the rest of the score is Klaus Badelt. Not Klaus Badelt, sorry, wow. Lauren Balfe. Lauren Balfe.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Lauren Balfe. And it's an insane score. If you haven't checked it out, I suggest listening to it. It's amazing. I've used this score as a reference to one of our albums over at Phantom Power that we released this year. I love the score. I I think it would hold its own nowadays. Like this game came out a while ago, and Lauren Balfe's score just kills it.
Okay, so you drew a lot of inspiration from there,
Mhm.
and the drums you said was something that Tom really wanted in. Was there,
Yeah.
as you were putting this, was there anything that you wanted to like? You had a special, I don't know, something that you like. I want this little extra sauce in there, flair.
There there it was, but it's not the type you usually think of, I guess.
Okay,
I
Good.
have a friend, Jason, who does expansion sets and libraries for various synths, especially this one synth called Omnisphere. His company is Rocky Mountain Sounds, and his stuff is really good. And he made one library after talking to me about trailer stuff and everything because it doesn't have as many trailer specific libraries, and he made this one called Complexity.
Hmm.
And I kept trying to find ways to pop that in the game score somehow, and I found different ways to put it in there. And um, that was that to me was like a really good element in the game. It's not orchestral,
Hmm.
and you'll hear it a lot of times without noticing it. And but it really adds that SWAT feel, this ominous feel sometimes, this type of drama and tension, which I think really helps when you're in these situations where you're just kind of unsure what to do to solve your way through the different missions and levels and confidence goals.
Mm. That is, you bring up something that I wanted to hit on too, which was how different or similar was it for you to approach this from being in the medium of video games as opposed to your prior work with trailers and film and TV? I'd imagine there's a lot of things that, like, usually, from my perspective, it's always been you're trying to get story points across and you want a tempo or tone or something that you're going to uh, kind of go with whatever the story beat is. Here there's many moments because it's a game, it's at the player's leisure. So how does that go? How does your brain process that, or how do you approach that? Is it the same approach or different, or could you shed some light there?
Some of it is the same, maybe more of it than I think, because I would just write. I would just see what the mission is and what's going on and everything, and I would just write to that and thinking about that and working with the references just like I would for a movie or the trailer briefs that I would get or send nowadays.
Okay.
Um, a big difference though is the deadline. The deadline was like working on this game for 3.5 years. I had time. While in movies, I can have like a deadline of 3 weeks for a feature length film or trailer specific things, which custom wise I might need to do in a few hours or overnight or a few days.
Oh
So that
wow.
was nice having that time. Uh,
And do you with that time, do you get a lot more freedom or ability to just be in like a creative sandbox? Does it come with that, or do you see a lot more notes coming in out of that?
Not as many notes, but the creativity is the freedom of creativity is there, and I enjoy that.
Okay.
And it just gives me a chance to really play around with sounds and try different things, and which I don't get to do as much in other projects.
Oh wow. And this is also, you were saying you were trying to get into the game space for music composition. This is your first?
Yeah, this is my first game score, so hopefully there'll be more. We'll see.
So that was my next question. You're interested in doing more then?
Oh yeah, totally. I playing games almost my whole life. It's like something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be in game music or film music and all that in some way since like high school. So like being now doing stuff like this, doing a game now and actually experiencing, I'm thinking, I want in this. I want to do that more.
That's I love to hearing that. As a big fan of the games, I always see the games that really resonate with me are the ones that pair the gameplay with a really strong musical, soundtrack, or they have a strong, just like a style or flair that amplifies it. Are there any in particular that you really are like, these are my favorite? You mentioned Call of Duty a little bit, that you drew inspiration from here. What are some of your favorite composers or games that you enjoy music from?
Lauren Balfe, Modern Warfare 2, that one I have to say, make sure that's in there. Nobuo Uematsu, of course, Final Fantasy 7,
Ah, okay.
or one that people don't talk about as much, Final Fantasy 2. That one I think is really good. That's 8-bit, so people don't realize how good 8-bit music can be from back then until you hear stuff like what's in Final Fantasy 2.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy series is just rich with so many different kind of compositions and stylings. And for me personally, I always get them a highlight of the game's music at like the Game Awards. If
Mhm.
you're familiar, like they usually do a rendition of the games that have been nominated for the Game of the Year, and seeing that put on showcase by their orchestra, I'm like always so stoked to see. Are there any, speaking of game on the games topic, like is there any games that you're playing right now or that you're looking forward to playing?
Well, I'm replaying Fallout 4 right now, so
Oh, okay. Nice. That's a
um
good one. It's a good classic.
I do need to go through the remakes of Final Fantasy 7. I have to do those. I have other games lined up that I have to play that I just don't have time to play right now. And I'm making sure I never touch FIFA for a while because that game will draw me in forever.
The temptation, it just sucks you in, huh?
It does. Those soccer games, those football games,
They
they know how to get you.
they know how to get you. Well, cool. No, I appreciate the time. Is this? I feel like that was everything I wanted to hit on with you about the tactical breach and your musical compositions. Is there anywhere where people can find you or find your work?
My site is probably the best place to find it.
Okay.
I'm working on an Instagram. Social media is not my strong suit.
And your site is robertarzola.com?
That's it.
Okay. We'll make sure to link that in the show notes. And is there anything in specific upcoming that you wanted to plug?
Upcoming, there's nothing yet, but I'm always hoping to get more.
Okay.
Right now, it's just my head is down and focusing on the supervision side because I've just been really busy on that end, and it's really good and really helpful and knowledgeable doing that side, and I'm hoping that it continues to help me on the composition side.
That's great to hear. I'm so glad. Again, Robert, thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And thank you for everyone for joining us today on Temple of Geek. My name is Kurosh, and we'll see you on the next one.